Hi,
My name is Tracy,
and my name is Lynn.
and together we
are
are Bollocks and Balls. We like to chat
And boy, can we chat.
about the bollocks and balls.
Mainly in our heads, but also about life in general. After all, it's good to talk.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How the devil are we today?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm fine and dandy, to be honest.
Fine and dandy. Haven't heard that for a while.
I know. Wonder whether. Oh no, we were going down that rabbit hole about where did that come from?
Where does that come from?
I think I'm feeling relatively good. I think.
You think?
Well, I'm trying to think if I don't, and I'm just trying to think if I'm just saying that I do when actually I don't.
Here's a complete sign of overthinking. I think I do, but I'm not sure. I'm just thinking. Yeah.
No.
Too much.
No, I feel good. Let's just get to the bottom. I feel good. It's fine.
I feel good.
See? Right, earlier we were saying, why is it you say a word and then it automatically springs a tune? See, and you just did that.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I wonder how many tunes we can come up with words that people say.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this.
Okay, we need to do that somewhere.
I can't think about that and think about what we're going to talk about as well.
Oh, God, no.
Can't do two things at once in my head.
Brain explode, that brain explode emoji.
It would. Absolutely.
Look, we've struggled as it is to try and get... Actually, I think we've been really good today.
Do you? Actually, we've been very productive today, which is...
Makes a change for us.
Very good for us. But you see, we put a time on it, didn't we?
We did.
And that's what we don't usually do.
No.
Usually it's like, well, we've got all day. So we've got all day to talk, and then the last 10 minutes is like, shit, should we do some work?
Shit, we haven't done that. Oh, we've not done that off our to-do list.
No, we've done well this week, actually.
I have. I reckon we've been on a bit of a mish.
Yeah, we've ticked lots of boxes.
We have.
Mm.
Literally.
Good on us.
I know. And look, get us. We're even that bloody organised. We've come up with like a system where we can have a joint to-do list online.
Oh no, how exciting! Got an app. Got to-do app.
A to-do app.
I think it's a bloody good idea.
We're hoping it'll keep a pair of us online, won't it?
Yeah, well, I write things on 10 bits of paper and then lose them.
Yeah, so do I.
Which is useless.
I know. And then I go off on a tangent and do loads of things and you're like, the fuck are you
What's
doing?
she doing? What's she done? Tell me all about it.
And I'm like,
Which is great. I'm not poo-pooing it. Where did that word come from?
What, poo-pooing?
It? Yeah.
I suppose it's a polite way of saying...
What is it a polite way of saying? Poo-pooing.
Poo-pooing. You're not poo-pooing. You're not shitting all over it, aren't you, really, poo-pooing?
It's very odd.
But then that makes no sense.
No.
Because you're not...
I'm not doing
shitting that on it, are you?
No, I'm poo-poo. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
No, it is poo-pooing.
It is poo-pooing, isn't it?
I'm not poo-pooing that. Oh, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Do you know what we need to do? We need to find somebody really clever that can give us the answers. Oh, we need Susie Dent from...
Who's Susie Dent?
She's the lady in Countdown. You know that does Dictionary Corner?
No, I don't watch it.
Right.
I'm not that intelligent.
Do you know what? I used to watch Blockbusters and Countdown with my eldest when he was little.
Just watch Blockbusters.
Yeah.
Actually, my mum used to watch Countdown.
Yeah. Well, I used to watch with my eldest when he was little. By the time he was 2, he knew all his alphabet. That's good. Give us a P, please, Bob. Now I can't remember where I was going with that.
No.
Oh yeah, Susie Dent. Right. She does she does a whole thing on language and like the history of sayings and words. We need a Susie Dent to explain to us where we come up with all these random sayings and then we go, where does that come from?
I like that.
Yes. So I need a Susie Dent in our life.
I always wanted to be called Susie.
Why?
Well, because Susie Quattro was a rock chick and I wanted to be a rock chick. So I thought that if I was called Susie, I'd be a rock chick.
I like that. Susie Quattro is cool.
Very cool.
She is.
Yeah, so I wanted to be called Susie.
Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah.
So it's only rock people called Susie.
Isn't that interesting how we think a name will change who we are?
Oh dear. This could be a difficult one. But it's true.
I know, that's why I said it.
Isn't it?
It is though, isn't it?
So have you never liked being called Tracy?
Well, I never really disliked it. There was always a phase going through school because there's always the Sharon and Tracy era, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So wherever I went, they'd go, "Where's Sharon?"
You're like I've not heard that one before.
But no, it's never bothered me. But I just always wanted to be called Susie instead
Because
Susie was a rock chick and Tracy was not a rock chick.
There might be a rock chick out there called Tracy.
Well, I haven't found her yet. Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you've assumed the identity of rock chicks are only called Susie.
Yeah. And also thought that just because I was called Tracy, I couldn't be a rock chick. Because I had to be called
Susie.
Susie. Far much cooler name, wasn't it? Than Trace.
But then I've never liked my name.
Why?
I just don't like it.
But why?
I don't know. I wanted to be... What did I want it to be? It was either... I wanted to be something like Rhiannon or Rihanna or something else.
So why did you want to be Rihanna?
I don't know. It was no, it wasn't that. It was something else. I can't remember what it's called now. But it was just.
But was it a cooler name?
Yeah,
So
I just thought it was a
thought-
more interesting name. Lynn's such a boring name. Sorry, Mum.
Well, you say that right, but then I thought Susie was a rock chick. But you've just told me Susie is a bit of a library head.
This is it. Susie Dent is.
Yeah.
Yes. She might be a rock chick in her part time. She might very well be a rock chick in her kitchen. You know,
so that
she may well often go to Metallica gigs.
Absolutely.
But no,
But
her
she's
day
not-
job is
She's not an out there rock chick.
She is not a day job rock chick. No.
So, my theory on being a Susie and who I was not quite correct then, was it?
No, it's a load of bullshit, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, what's that saying? That the Susies are available.
Love it. But that's interesting, isn't it? Why? Partly because I think we're not given our names, so we don't get a choice about our names, do we?
No, but that would be very difficult because of what age could we decide what our name was? We'd probably come up with quite a few before we actually decided being little people.
Yes. This is it, isn't it?
Mm.
My 4-month-old grandson's not going to be able to vocalise what his name wants to be currently at the moment, is he?
No.
He just laughs and giggles at you at the moment.
Yes, I've never thought of this before. So I wonder what that makes us... Like you said, you didn't like your name.
No.
So do we pin that to ourselves as well? Do we pin that name issue that we have to ourselves? Do you know what I'm trying to think?
I guess. So, what age were you when you wanted to be Susie because you wanted to be a rock chick?
Probably about 8 or 9.
Okay, so that makes sense. So our identity starts forming from about 6 or 7.
6 or 7, doesn't it? Yeah.
So when you're trying to form that identity, which you would be about 8 or 9,
yes,
Susie, rock chick.
Yes.
Because we don't know any other way of forming our identity at that age, do we?
Interesting how I thought how I linked that the name would make me a rock chick. And why I couldn't be a rock chick as I was.
No. Because outwardly all you're seeing is Susie Quattro. That's who you want to be.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting though. Because I've never liked my name.
That's interesting. There's got to be a reason why. There's got to be a deep down, hidden in the darkness. There has to be something why you disliked your name. Because I can't say I ever disliked mine. I'm not sure I ever really thought about liking it or dislike it.
Maybe it's because you can't shorten it. And I don't know whether as a kid I used to like names that you could...
See, I'm the opposite.
Shorten. And you can't do anything with
Lynn.
it.
No, you can't. Lynn's Lynn, isn't it?
You can, yeah.
You can shorten it in writing.
Yes.
But you can't shorten it when you say it.
No, there's nothing you can do with it.
No.
To be honest, it's just, that's it. You can't do anything else with it.
And everybody does shorten names. And I
yes.
think, were you aware of that when you gave your children names?
Yes. I gave them all names that they could shorten.
That they could shorten.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to shorten yours.
There you go then, that makes sense. So they have all got names that they can shorten, and they all use the shortened versions of their names.
How interesting is that?
They don't ever go by their full names.
Mm-hmm.
That's it then, isn't it? Because I wanted to be able to shorten it, and I couldn't.
You couldn't shorten yours.
Why? Why would you be able? I think it. Maybe it is because it just made it just something different.
And I suppose with some names, there's a different, because we all joke about it, don't we? Like when your mum's cross with you, she always use your full name.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder if something like that you interpret like there was never any difference.
No.
With you.
No.
Because your name's your name.
Yeah.
Whereas with other names, you go, my mum always used to like Trace.
Yeah.
Otherwise I was Trace.
So did your mum call you Trace then?
I can't remember. Can't remember.
See, it's funny, isn't it? See, my nan hated anybody shortening my mum's name. So my mum's name was Sheila.
So she'd be she.
Yeah, so it's a Sheil. People used to call her Sheil sometimes. My nan hated it. Absolutely hated it. And my mum was never a lover. So
it was her fault. She gave her the name.
I know.
So she can't moan.
I know. And my mum never really shortened her name. She was always known as Sheila. Oh, the only difference is part of her.
But that was the programming because your nan didn't like it.
Yeah.
So your mum wasn't going to shorten it, was she? Because her mum didn't like it.
No. She's got a cousin, and her cousin's children used to call my mum Lala. So they're the only people that were, because my mum could never say Sheila as a child, so she always used to say her name was Lala. So that's where that's come from.
Oh, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my mum used both because I can remember her saying Trace a lot. she called me or anything. She would always say Trace, actually, if I think about it. But she would call me Tracy as well. But I never thought of it. I don't look back and think that my mum and dad ever went Tracy or Trace in different ways. So my name was either.
Right, okay.
So maybe that's why I don't really attach a good or bad sort of feeling.
Okay, so that makes sense.
With it,
yeah.
Because it was just whatever. There was whichever way they used it was fine. I don't ever remember it, being in an angry tone or Trace in a nice tone. So it was fine. Whatever.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Whereas mine would have been, because my name remained the same throughout. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've never ever thought of it in that context before, to be honest, about how we look at, we often talk about not being able to choose your name. It's something that you're given. You don't have a choice when we talk about choices. But I've never really gone any further with it. I mean, I always find it fascinating to ask people where their names came from.
Yeah.
I always find that fascinating because there's a whole nother story.
Yes.
There's always a story behind a name, isn't there?
Yes.
Which I love. I think that's like really exciting, and like for whatever reason it is. But yeah, I like that. I like the stories behind names and why. Why was that name chosen for you? And sometimes it's really random, sometimes it's really interesting, sometimes it's just plucked out of nowhere, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Yes, there's a lot of gravitas to a name, actually, isn't there, really?
Yeah. And it's really important, because I don't know whether you did this, but when you're choosing a name, you don't just think of the name, you have to think of like the name that goes with it, because we've all got a surname.
Yeah.
And then you have to think about if you put a middle name in there. And then you have to think about the initials when somebody writes down that name.
Yeah.
Well, I thought of all that, but then I am a bit of an overthinker. I mean, there are certain probably people out there who've got initials and names who
what, like bend over and stuff like that?
Yeah, and what's the first thing you say? What were their parents thinking? I mean, maybe they just had a good sense of humour, or maybe they didn't think at all. But again, that's just me going into a whole vortex of thinking.
But there is, isn't there? Recently, like you say, with my grandson, isn't it? That they were thinking of names and stuff like that, and there were a couple of that they wanted a middle name, but then his initials would have been Knob.
But wouldn't you just want to do it?
Honestly, not gonna lie, there was part of me going, "Oh, that would be hilarious."
Do it.
And then I thought, no, you can't do that. That's not nice, is it? And to be honest, my son found it quite hilarious too. But like you say, isn't it? You've got to think of. I think, and like you say, I'm guessing a lot of people don't, do they? But I think,
And also, right, I was just thinking then, why should we think about that? Because really, it shouldn't matter, should it?
But it shouldn't.
It absolutely shouldn't. And people, people give their kids real quirky names. People go, "Oh, you can't call them that. Why can't you?"
But that's the thing. I think in our day, if my initials were Knob, I would have got ripped the piss out of. Let's be perfectly honest. I'm not sure it's as bad now, because names are so much more diverse now, aren't they?
Yeah.
You haven't just got your bog standard girls' names and boys' names now, is it? It's so. I fancy the girls' names are a lot more diverse than the boys' names are, I think.
Yeah, possibly.
Now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, that there are a lot more. Nobody's questioning what you name your child anymore.
No, that's it. Which I think is great.
I think that's amazing. You crack on. You call
absolutely
whatever you want.
I think it's great.
But isn't it funny how they live up to that identity?
Well, I
then?
was just going to say, and also, if you've got a real different name, I wonder if that frees you as a person. It makes you feel like you can be different.
I wonder if it does. That would be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, that's the name you've been given. You've not given that choice. Does that automatically, like you say, give you that freedom to be, because your name is different, that you're going to be different and you're going to be comfortable being different?
Yeah, I wonder
Or
if it
does it make you more
like you feel like you need to fit in a bit?
Fit in because you feel different because your name's different.
Interesting.
So, like, for example, what's her name? Can't remember her name. The one that called her child Apple.
Can't
remember her
I was
name.
only talking about this the other day.
So, like you say, does that make them more confident to be who they are because they're automatically going to be aware that their name's different to the Emmas and whatever out there? Or does it make you more self-conscious?
Interesting.
And that's an individual thing, isn't it?
But then don't you think, right, if you're the type of person that gives your child a different name, you're probably quite unique.
Yes, that's true.
I know we're all unique, we're all individual.
Yep.
But there are some people that are happy to step out being unique and individual, and others that are a little bit stuck with the programming and feel like they need to conform. So if your parent is one of those that gives you a name that is unique and different, probably you're going to be brought up in an environment that is very acceptable to be unique and be yourself. Yeah, you're going to be around those. Able to be different. Yeah, you are. I'm guessing you're going to be around those people, aren't you? I would have thought that's your programming to be okay with doing that, because that's a huge thing with identity, is what we're brought into, isn't it? Gosh, yes. With the programming, and then what society. I'm trying to think that word, not makes us, but we're brought up programmed into believing certain things from circumstances and situations around us and what we're brought up in, aren't we? Yeah. That's just given us a pause for thought, that. Never gone down that road before. I've always had this fascination with names. You know, why are you called that? Where did that come from? The stories. I mean, I just love stories. So, but never thought of it with the so deep with the identity thing. No. Like I said, we always say about it's a name you didn't choose, you weren't given. It's just your name. It's not who you are. No, it's not though, is it? No. But also there are a lot of things around that whole name that probably do pin a lot to your identity and your beliefs. Yeah. From what is around you and why you've been given that name, and lots of things. Interesting. It is, isn't it? And I wonder how everybody else's concept about their name, how they feel about their name. Yeah, and why. Yeah. That's the next step, isn't it? It's like, how do you feel about your name? And then why do you feel like that? So that, like you say, the reason why you must feel like it, so for me, not liking it, must come up for some part where you're forming that identity. Absolutely. What that name means for you. Absolutely. During that period. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. It is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. My mum always said that she heard my name because my dad was in a jazz band.
Yeah.
So when he was playing, my mum would be dancing. And that was in the time of like when the American GIs were over here. And so because Dad was on the stage, she'd dance with the American GIs. And she said that's where she heard my name
Really?
from an American GI. And that's why I've got an E in, because the male name over there, they spell it with an E.
Right. So it was.
And actually, see, I found that story quite exciting.
So you're named after an American GI.
That's where she heard it from. So it's like, I just thought that story. So maybe that's part of it as well, because she always, because I obviously must have asked from quite a young age, like, why am I called Tracy?
Yeah.
Because I always knew that story. And maybe that's because I am like, I've got quite a story head. So
Yeah.
that I found that quite exciting, that whole concept, So maybe that's why I had a good feeling about my name.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, just.
Whereas there was no story with my name. I don't even know why I'm called that. The only thing I know is it's spelt the way it's spelt because that's the Welsh way of spelling it. And it was the least common way of spelling it.
Yeah, because a lot of people like that, don't they? Try and choose the least common.
Yeah, so that's why it's spelt like that.
And my middle name, my dad chose. Well, I am a Susie because my middle name is Suzanne with a Z. So what am I talking about? Oh, I am a rock chick.
Oh my God, it's been there. So basically you wanted to swap names because I'm sure Susie Quattro isn't called Susie, is she?
Oh, look, see, I've been Susie all this time and not even realised who I was.
It's only taken us 60 frickin' years to work that one out.
Oh my God. How crazy is that?
I was just going to say, just swap your names round. You can call yourself Susie.
Oh, I am, so I don't need to. I am Susie. I've got Susie in there now, am I? How bizarre is that? Not funny. Never even like.
That never occurred to you?
Why have I never thought of that before?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. See, I told you earlier if I had a brain, it'd be dangerous.
It would be.
How ridiculous.
You've never thought that before.
No.
So
No, because that's always been Suzanne.
But I'm sure Susie Quattro isn't just Susie, is she?
No. Funny, isn't it?
So, and then now you need to talk about why your dad called you Suzanne.
Well, I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
But your dad chose that.
Dad chose that, yeah.
See, my middle name is my dad's mum's was her name.
See, a lot of people get pulled into that whole family, don't they?
Yes.
They have family names as middle names. But, yeah, I never wanted to do that.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't. The only time I put my foot down about a name was my husband wanted to call my middle son Eric. And I said no.
Mm-hmm.
Except if you tell that story to my middle son, he's vastly disappointed and would much rather be called Eric than what he is.
Well, when I said that about not wanting to give family names, but actually my son is the oldest and he had well, there's a whole story there, isn't there, which I think I've told you before about my son's name and what. So he had two family middle names. Well, told him he had two family middle names, told him what his name was, and then it wasn't until years and years, and I am talking like, I think it was about 30 years later when the birth certificate came up for some reason, and actually he only had one middle name.
So you've just lied to him forever.
For his whole life. I told him he had two. I don't know how or why that happens.
But that's it. But you've convinced yourself otherwise.
Well, convinced him, but convinced myself that was what he was called. But he wasn't.
It's funny.
Yeah, but that took about 30 years for us all to realise.
Not too long then. Oh my god.
I've got to make you wonder in it sometimes.
Yeah. To be honest, after today, it's making me wonder even.
Oh dear. Anyway.
See? So you gave him a false identity.
I did. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's actually really interesting about how much a name impacts somebody's identity. And how we've just, like you say.
It does though, doesn't it? That's part of who you sort of, you have a story to that name on who you believe you are. Love it, hate it. What?
Strange. It's strange.
See, it's fascinating, this identity, story, language, programming.
God, you're going on about it forever.
Pack it all together. That's such an impact on who we think we are.
It's true. Is it not?
How many brains out there are now ticking? Can you hear it? Can you hear it in the distance? Everybody's sat there going, why am I called that? Do I like my name?
Yeah.
Why don't I like
I was going to
it?
say,
Why do I
are
love
there
it?
any other stories about how your name existed? It's funny, isn't it? I got my feeling my mum's had something to do with an old girlfriend of my granddad's. That's why she's called Sheila.
Well, there are times when I wonder about my middle name, because myself and my cousin, my dad chose my middle name, her dad chose her middle name, and we have the same middle name.
Suzanne got around a bit, didn't she?
So I've often thought it's come from I know this sounds stupid, it's come from a person, whether that's a person they knew or whether it was like a celebrity person that they, do you know what?
Suzanne clearly had an impact.
Somewhere, I would have thought so, in the fact that we were both chosen to have that middle name from brothers, which was quite interesting. I mean, there's about 10 years, oh no, not quite 10 years between us.
But you never figured out who this Suzanne was.
No, I never asked that. Maybe I never dared to ask. Because I always knew the stories. But yeah, it's a bit like I never dared to ask who the GI was, I suppose. But no, there we are.
I was just thinking your mum was doing what she needed to for her stockings, wasn't she, to be honest?
She always said you had to keep in with the GIs because that's how you got your nylons.
Exactly. Exactly.
My dad had always had his eye on her from the stage.
But that's really interesting, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure. I remember my mum saying something about her name was from an ex-girlfriend of my granddad's. Mine is none of that's mine is that interesting.
But then that's how you hear names, isn't it? Or
people, isn't it? Those people that make an impact or impression on your life.
Yeah, or you suddenly. I know with my son, it was like he was going to be called something else, and then I heard this name and went, I like that, on the telly. So changed it, and it's just what you.
Yeah, none of my kids have meaningful. The only one my youngest, his middle name is now after my husband's middle name. And that's just because I felt I ought to, but the other two, no. Like I say, the exception was the Eric. So you're not calling any son of mine called Eric. So, and that would have been after Eric Cantona.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So funny.
That's what you wanted to do. I was like, no. Plus, it didn't go with the other name. Just no. You were ruining my little vision I had of them being shortened.
See, there you couldn't short. Can you short Eric? You can't short.
Ick.
People will shorten it to absolutely anything, won't they? And I remember I was always thinking about that. But
see, my dad lengthened my name
to
link it. So Kit is short for Kathleen, which is my middle name, which was his mum's name. So he would always call me Linkit.
Oh, that's cool. Like that.
So he would lengthen it. So yeah, my mum never called me that. He would always, yeah. Hence my brother always calls me Kit.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Or he would swap it the other way around and call me Kitty Lynn sometimes. But yeah, there was always a Kit there somewhere.
My gran and granddad's house was called Aglin because she was called Agnes and he was called Leonard. I always remember that. I always can picture their door with the little sign Aglin.
Oh.
Yeah. They were lovely. Yeah.
Bless.
Yeah. See, it's great what you can do in names, isn't it?
I think we need to go and get the eyes changed by deed poll.
I've already done that. Not my first name.
See, at any point when you changed your names, why did you not think of changing it to Susie?
Yeah, I should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to change my first name. So I needed to change my last name. And didn't want to go to my maiden name because I've been there and done that. What are you thinking? What?
You could have gone to Tracy Susie Quattro.
I could have done, couldn't I? I didn't think of that either.
You can name anything. You name yourself anything you like. Why did you not name yourself Tracy Susie Quattro when you changed your name?
Yeah, I should have done. Never thought of it.
I think you need another trip.
Yeah, come on. Can't change it that many times. I'll run out of paper in a minute.
And there's a bloody faff changing it on anything I can imagine, and it's bad enough when you get married.
It's easy changing it. It's just changing it on all the paperwork.
That's the shit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the difficult.
It's bad enough when you get married. Stop that for a game, so just right. Should we leave these lovely folks thinking about their names now?
Yeah.
Oh, please tell us what you'd like to be
Let
called.
us know. Put some comments.
We'd love to know what.
I'd love to know the stories.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah. I think we'll have to do a little post on this in the.
I think so.
Yeah.
February's identity. We need to do that.
This is a sofa subject.
Sofa subject it is. Right, my darlings, we're going to love you and leave you. We're going to let you go and think about that now.
Have a great rest of the day.
See you later. Bye. So much for listening to Chatting Bollocks and Bull with Lynn and Tracy.
If you would like to see or hear more of us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or of course by subscribing to the podcast.
If you share this podcast with others, you will make two old birds very happy. And finally, if you want more bollocks and bull in your life,
and who wouldn't,
then sign up to our newsletter. The link is in the show notes.
That's all, folks.
Love ya!